Stef Diggs and Cardi B's world shatters after shocking update on son's condition. The hospital corridor was unusually quiet, the kind of silence that felt heavy, uncomfortable, like the air itself knew something devastating was about to happen. Cardi B sat frozen in a padded chair, her phone clutched tightly in her shaking hands, her nails digging into the screen as if the pressure might somehow change reality. Stef Diggs paced back and forth, his jaw clenched, his hands raking through his hair again and again, his usual confident aura completely shattered. Their precious baby boy, the child they had proudly introduced to the world with smiles, glowing photos, and overwhelming joy, was now fighting a battle no parent ever imagines their newborn would face. And the doctors had just delivered an update that left them both speechless. "We need to talk. Now." The head specialist entered the room with a look that said everything before a single word was spoken. A nurse stood behind him, eyes lowered, clutching a clipboard like a shield. Cardi immediately rose to her feet, her voice trembling. "Is he okay? Just tell me, please." Stef stopped pacing, his eyes locking onto the doctor. "You said the treatment was working. You said he was stable." There was a pause. A painful, soul-crushing pause. "Unfortunately," the doctor began gently, "your son's condition has taken an unexpected turn." The room seemed to spin. The shocking revelation. The medical team explained that despite initial signs of improvement, the baby's tiny body had started reacting negatively. His breathing had become irregular. His heart rate fluctuated. His neurological responses were no longer consistent. "He's still fighting," the doctor stressed, "but this has now become a critical situation." Cardi staggered backward, tears instantly flooding her eyes. "No, not my baby, not my son." Stef caught her before she collapsed, his own eyes glossy with unshed tears. "He's a fighter," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. "He's strong, he has to be." Cardi B breaks down. The strong, fearless rapper who once dominated stages worldwide now crumbled against the wall, sobs racking her entire body. "I carried him. I felt his kicks. I prayed for him every night," she cried. "How can this be happening?" Nurses tried to comfort her, but grief doesn't listen to reason. It drowns everything. Stef watched helplessly, fighting the urge to break down completely. He had promised to protect his family. And right now, he couldn't protect the one who mattered most. Stef Diggs' silent pain. Away from cameras, away from fans, Diggs sat alone in the waiting room staring at the floor, replaying every moment. The first ultrasound. The first time he held his son. The night they whispered dreams for his future. "I would trade places with you in a heartbeat, son," he murmured quietly. A tear slid down his face. This wasn't just fear. This was the terror of possibly losing the center of their universe. Fans noticed something is wrong. Social media exploded when Cardi canceled appearances and Stef skipped interviews. No explanations. No cheerful updates. Hashtags appeared within hours. Hashtag pray for Cardi and Stef. Hashtag stay strong baby boy. Hashtag miracle for their son. Fans speculated wildly, sensing the gravity behind the silence. When a blurry photo of Cardi crying in the hospital parking lot surfaced, the internet knew, something was terribly wrong. He needs a miracle. Inside the NICU, machines beeped steadily, each sound a reminder of how fragile life can be. Cardi stood over the incubator, whispering softly. "Mommy's here, baby. You gotta stay. You hear me? You are not leaving mommy." Stef rested a trembling hand on the glass. "Your whole future is waiting for you, little king. You gotta keep fighting." Doctors informed them that the next 48 hours would be crucial. Those words echoed like a death sentence. A desperate night of prayer. As night fell, Cardi contacted family, friends, pastors, anyone who could pray. "Please just pray for my son," she sobbed over the phone. "That's all I'm asking." Stef knelt on the cold hospital floor, head bowed, whispering words he never thought he'd be forced to say. God, don't take him. Please, not my boy. The update that shattered them. By morning, the results were in. The specialist's voice was calm, but the words were devastating. We've discovered deeper complications. His condition is more serious than we initially believed. The phrase hit like a hammer. Cardi's face went pale. So what are you saying? She whispered. We're preparing for all outcomes. Stef's fists clenched. All outcomes? His voice cracked. You mean, death? Silence. And that silence broke them entirely. A mother's plea. Cardi clutched her son's tiny fingers, sobbing uncontrollably. Please don't leave me, Mommy needs you, please. Her voice echoed through the sterile halls, a raw sound of pure heartbreak that no amount of fame or money could silence. The world watches in horror. As rumors spread, the story dominated headlines. Stef Diggs and Cardi B's baby boy hospitalized in critical condition. A parent's worst nightmare unfolds. Fans across the globe sent emotional messages, lighting candles, posting prayers, and pleading for a miracle. Even celebrities joined in support. Hope in the darkness. Despite everything, one doctor offered a faint ray of light. There is a chance, small, but real. He's still holding on. That single sentence became their lifeline. Stef squeezed Cardi's hand. He's not giving up. And neither will we. Cardi nodded through her tears. My baby is a warrior. A family on the edge. Days passed in emotional agony. Sleep became impossible. Every beep, every nurse's step made their hearts freeze. Their lives, once filled with music, fame, laughter, now revolved around an incubator and a prayer. Will their miracle come? As the world holds its breath, Stef Diggs and Cardi B remain trapped between terrifying reality and desperate hope, praying their baby boy wins the most important fight of his life. Because in this moment, fame means nothing. Money means nothing. Only love and survival matters. Here is your very long, emotional, highly dramatic fictional story in the style you love. Stef Diggs and Cardi B's world shatters after shocking update on their son's condition. The hospital corridor was silent, too silent for a place meant to bring life into the world. The fluorescent lights flickered faintly, casting long shadows across the polished floor as Stef Diggs paced back and forth, his hands trembling uncontrollably. Just a few days ago, this same hallway echoed with laughter, joy, and celebration as he and Cardi B welcomed their newborn son into the world. What was supposed to be the happiest chapter of their lives was now unfolding into their deepest nightmare. Cardi B sat frozen in a chair, her face pale, eyes swollen with tears that refused to stop falling. Her hands clutched a tiny baby blanket, the same one she had lovingly picked out months before, embroidered with golden stars and the name they had whispered with so much hope. Every second that passed felt like a lifetime. Then the doors opened. Doctors stepped out. Their expressions said everything before they even spoke. Broken heart, the update that changed everything. The lead specialist cleared her throat gently. We've done everything possible to stabilize him, but his condition has taken an unexpected turn. Stef stopped pacing. Cardi slowly lifted her head. What do you mean? She whispered, her voice barely audible. The doctor explained that their baby boy's health complications were more severe than initially believed. Despite earlier signs of improvement, his tiny body was struggling to respond to treatment. The situation was now critical. Cardi's world blurred. The words echoed in her mind like a cruel storm. Critical. Critical. She collapsed into Stef's arms, letting out a broken sob that reverberated through the corridor. No, not my baby. She cried. Not my son, please. Stef, normally the unshakable pillar of strength, broke down too. Hot tears ran down his face as he pressed his forehead against the wall, whispering desperate prayers under his breath. Crying face a mother's agony. Cardi was allowed back into the room, where her newborn lay surrounded by machines, wires, and soft beeping monitors. The sight alone shattered her soul. She reached out, placing a trembling finger around his tiny hand. "Mommy's here, baby. Mommy's right here," she sobbed. Her voice cracked with every word as she leaned closer. "You gotta fight. You hear me? You're strong like your daddy. You can't leave me, my love." The room filled with emotion so heavy the nurses themselves struggled to hold back tears. Stef stood nearby, silently wiping his face, watching the love of his life talk to their child as if her words alone could bring him back to perfect health. Globe showing Europe-Africa fans react in shock. News of the tragic update spread like wildfire. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtag pray for Cardi son. Hashtag stay strong Cardi. Hashtag digs family strong. Celebrities, fans, and supporters from around the world poured out messages of love. No parent should go through this. My heart breaks for Cardi and Stef. Sending prayers and strength. We believe in miracles. Stay strong queen. Your son is a fighter. Even those who had once criticized their relationship now united in sympathy, realizing that pain like this transcends fame, wealth, and status. Candle Stef's emotional breakdown. Later that night, Stef sat alone in the hospital chapel, his face buried in his hands. "I would trade everything," he whispered into the empty room. "My career, my money, my fame, just let my son be okay." He replayed memories that had barely begun, the first cry, the tiny fingers wrapped around his own, the dreams of teaching him football, watching him grow into a king. Now all of that felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. Speech balloon Cardi's heart-wrenching message. Through tears, Cardi later shared a brief emotional message with fans. "This is the hardest moment of my life. Please keep my baby in your prayers. He's my heart, my soul, my everything. We're holding on to hope." Her words broke millions. This wasn't the bold, fiery superstar the world knew. This was simply a mother in pain, fighting the scariest battle of her life. New moon the longest night. Every beep of the machines felt like a ticking clock of fear. Cardi refused to leave her son's side. She sang softly to him, whispered promises, and kissed his tiny forehead repeatedly. Stef held her hand, their fingers intertwined like a silent prayer. Outside, the world held its breath. Inside, two parents clung desperately to faith. Sparkles a glimmer of hope. As dawn approached, a nurse stepped in with cautious optimism. "There's been a slight stabilization, it's not over yet, but he's fighting." Those words, small as they were, felt like oxygen in a room full of despair. Cardi looked up, hopeful but terrified to believe. "Please let this be the miracle," she whispered. Stef nodded, tears streaming once more. "Our son is a warrior," he said firmly. "He's not giving up. Dove a love tested by fire." This tragic moment changed them forever. Their love story, once filled with glitz, rumors, and headlines, now stood against the raw reality of fear and vulnerability. Together, they stood united not as celebrities, but as two broken hearts protecting the tiny life they created. And as the sun slowly rose over the silent hospital city, one truth remained. No fame. No fortune. No spotlight. Could ever prepare a parent for a moment like this. Will their baby pull through? Will the miracle they pray for finally arrive? The world waits. Their hearts tremble. And hope, however fragile, refuses to die.
쳐다보고 있겠지. 묘한 짜릿함 그 속에 머물다 보면 어느새 제주행 비행 신비한 세계로 나를 이끌고 거짓말처럼 하늘을 날며 어느새